Can we talk about it, Boulder?
This young man, he has just kept his head down and just earned it. Don't flinch, he don't trip. He just go out there and give 100% in practice as well as the game.
The Colorado Buffaloes did something huge. Now that the NFL draft is over, we've got to dive into this accolade because they did something no other program did in this year's draft. And to me, it's something that deserves conversation. Plus, we got to talk about Mel Kiper. That dude lost his mind the majority of NFL draft, and there's some good behind it and honestly some bad. So we're going to dive into that here on the Prime Time for College Football. I appreciate y'all pulling up. I'm Jay. Let's dive into what the Buffs did that no other program was able to do, while also diving into Mel Kiper losing his ever-loving mind all weekend long. I wanted to wait to talk about the draft. I wanted to go complete. There's been a lot of negativity flying on social media, especially around Shadur. You saw the prank call that went down from some kids that somehow got his number. Definitely was an NFL franchise that leaked that. I don't care what nobody say. That should not have happened. And it's just messy. We'll just say that things were completely messy in a lot of situations. But the Buffs gave you all some big time stuff here in the NFL draft. The main thing is, first and foremost, the Colorado Buffaloes had the most wide receivers drafted in this year's draft, which is massive, right? Like if you really think about it, how big of a deal is that Colorado was able to have 3 wide receivers drafted? Of course, Travis Hunter went exactly where you expected. Travis Hunter, being Travis Hunter, went out there and showed y'all why he is one of the best players to play in college football, honestly, in history. Got the number 2 pick, traded up to lay hands on this dude. Now, granted, they list him as corner in a lot of these situations, but let's be real here. Travis Hunter is a wide receiver and corner, and it sounds like Jacksonville's going to have him playing both sides of the ball, which, of course, no, you can't beat that, especially for what we know that Travis Hunter can be. Then you got to take a look at, all the others that ended up getting drafted, which to me is still massive. Colorado had 3 wide receivers drafted, man. I don't think people understand it. That's huge. And it honestly confirms just the talent that not only Coach Prime was able to bring in, but honestly, the guy throwing them the ball in Shadur Sanders, because that ball is not coming to them without this man throwing them the ball. Like, there's no way you're getting any of these passes completed without Shadur Sanders finding a way to get him to him, completing the ball at a 70% clip, 71% to be exact. And he ends up now with the Cleveland Browns a lot later than expected at 144th, which, I'm going to be honest, this is probably a great way for him to have that chip on his shoulder and to prove a lot of people wrong. But Colorado having 3 wide receivers drafted and then a 4th signing, and Will Shepard signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's huge. Let's take a look at these players real quick. You have LeJontay Wester picked up by the Baltimore Ravens, 6th round pick. Oh, man. I think that Wester's going to be a massive surprise for a lot of people. I actually think that was a fantastic pickup by Baltimore. 6th round, number 203. He's going to be special. And we saw the highlights of the kid. I mean, not only with catches and kick returns, everything you could imagine. They got themselves, to me, I'd say a stud. So Colorado having your top 4 wide receivers getting drafted. So, I mean, Wester gets you 931 yards, 10 touchdowns, double-digit touchdown season too. And so that the Ravens, who could use an additional receiver, I believe that Lamar Jackson's got himself a nice one to add with Zay Flowers, right? With was that Bateman? You got him out there. Rashad Bateman. I think that Baltimore got themselves a nice stud, a nice burner, good on special teams. He'll be able to do a lot. And I think this is going to take a lot of pressure off Flowers for the Ravens. And then you add into that Jimmy Horn going to Carolina. Jimmy Horn to Carolina? Ooh. That gives Bryce Young a nice weapon. I don't know what y'all think, but to me, that's a pretty darn nice weapon to have at wide receiver. And because he's a burner, too. He ran, like a 4.45 in his 40 and at the pro day. I mean, he put up enough numbers, 37 catches, 441. To be honest, I'm a little surprised that Will Shepherd ended up going undrafted. It could be a size thing. I don't know. I don't know why they don't believe in the 6'3" wide receiver. It's kind of weird to me. He had a solid season at Vanderbilt and came to Colorado in a very busy room and on a team that throws the ball a lot, put up numbers. We got to talk about Mel Kiper losing his mind now because he lost his mind in favor for Shadur Sanders. And this is where it's good and bad. So the good thing with that is that he was fighting for a quarterback he felt like was one of the top players in the draft. One that should have probably been picked up a lot earlier than what he was. And I totally get his argument. I mean, you know, here we're fans of Shadur, and I thought that he was one of the better ones out there. And Shadur falling the way he did and sliding, I mean, it's been talked about for weeks, and I've talked about it here. And I thought Cleveland was going to pick him up. They raved about him in interviews. I saw a piece that Brian Daboll with the Giants did not like Shadur in his interview process. He was one of the coaches, supposedly, and they asked him to break down some stuff, and I guess Shadur balked at it or something, and Daboll didn't like it, even though Daboll did that with a lot of quarterbacks. A lot of people also believe that Daboll is going to be jobless, you know, very soon anyway, but that's not the point. Shadur not landing with the Giants, even wearing custom cleats, people are, you know, bagging on him for it. But even on top of that, you saw the Browns really liked him. And then they picked him up with Dylan Gabriel. They got 2 running backs. So it looked like they actually filled some needs. And it's funny because out of all the teams that got an A+, actually only one team got an A+ in the draft from Mel Kiper, and that was the Browns. And that was to him because they picked up Shadur. This is the bad part, though. He went a little too hard on the beaver when he was going in about Shadur Sanders. There should be limits to how much you go in on a player not getting picked up that you felt like should have been picked up. And Mel just wouldn't stop. Like, he took away from the shine from other players. He took away from shine, you know, on Cam. He took shine away from Travis Hunter, in my opinion. You know, he was going a little too hard on the Shadur piece. And I get it. I mean, like, Colorado fans appreciate the fact that he was fighting for Shadur and explaining why Shadur should have been, you know, more heavily considered. And I get that. Went a little too hard, though. What he needs to do, continue to preach it while at the same time focus on the players that was out there. Shadur does not need that kind of defense. He doesn't. He really does not. Now, you know, some people going to think, you know, he's getting gassed up too much, whatever. But Shadur didn't need that much at all. Now, my thoughts on him going to Cleveland. I think it's okay. If anything, if Shadur gets there and truly changes that program, he will become legendary. So, if you want me to keep that part of buck, Shadur's going to have to go in there and change them around so that he can be listed as legendary. This is the legendary moment. He's got a battle with Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco. That room is a little crazy, but if Shadur gives you that, I guarantee it, the man is considered legendary. So I want to hear y'all hop in the comments. How'd y'all feel about Shadur getting drafted where he did? Definitely want to hear your take on all of this. All right, we'll break down the players, where they went, how we feel about it. Then we'll start looking at transfer portal. We had a couple transfer portal entries for the Buffs that, I'm going to be honest, feels a little slimy. So we'll jump in and talk about that. We'll have the video come out sometime tomorrow. So besides that, we'll chop it up soon.